All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. And it is that time of the week, folks, as I'm going to talk about my key games for this upcoming Saturday in the world of college football. Don't have as many this week as I did last week, but nonetheless, I think we are in store for some good football action this Saturday in the collegiate ranks. Want to get things started with an old Southwest Conference battles. You have the 17th ranked SMU Mustangs, who currently represent the ACC, taking on the Baylor Bears of the Big 12. And of course, SMU at home comes into this contest favored by 2.5 points. And for Baylor, they want to get on track because they just lost at home last weekend by 2 touchdowns to the Auburn Tigers. The bottom line is Baylor has to play better, and you could just take your pick from what department that the Bears need to play better in. But nonetheless, I want to see how Baylor quarterback Sawyer Robertson looks in this one. I want to see how linebacker Gaten Thomas looks as well, and then wide receiver Cole Wilson. On the flip side for SMU, Kevin Jennings, I think by the end of this year is going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the ACC. He already was last year, so I think that trend continues. And then I like the play of wide receiver Romello Brinson. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. Baylor definitely doesn't want to go down 0-2, albeit that it would be 0-2 out of conference, but nonetheless, they want to try to go out there and win some games. But I think SMU is going to be very tough at home, and I'm going to take Southern Methodist by the score of 31-27. Now, the battle of the Cy-Hawk Trophy, as you have the Iowa Hawkeyes out of the Big Ten making the short trek to Ames to take on the 16th ranked Iowa State Cyclones. And for Iowa, the biggest question is, are they going to be able to score enough points? Because one thing you know with Kirk Ferentz as the head coach, the Hawkeyes are going to play defense. And honestly, when it's all said and done, I think this is going to be a good old-fashioned paint swapping game right here that you're going to see. Iowa running backs Terrell Washington as well as Xavier Williams will definitely play a part in this contest if the Hawkeyes are going to win on the road. Iowa's passing issues. Have they figured it out? I'm not sold on it as of yet. Okay, but nonetheless, I like what I see so far this season out of Iowa State quarterback Rocco Becht. I think that continues. And then talking about running the football, I like what the Cyclones can do with Carson Hansen and Abu Sama, as well as a guy like Gabe Burkle at tight end. To Abe, who can play off of that, a strong running game for the Cyclones. Like I said, it's going to be a paint swapping game. Usually, the games between Iowa and Iowa State are decided in the fourth quarter late. The first team to 20 is more than likely going to win this game if either team gets to 20. Iowa State is favored by 3.5 at home, and I'm going to take the Cyclones by the score of 23-17. Now, a battle of the Big 12 between the Big 10 is you have Oklahoma State making the trek to Eugene to take on 6th-ranked Oregon. Oregon, I know that they come into this game favored big. And some people might say, well, why are you going to have them on this game? I still think big interconference matchup between two Power Four schools. And, I'm going to give Oklahoma State the benefit of the doubt. The Cyclones, clearly, they want to put last year behind them. For me, the biggest thing with Oklahoma State is their defense going to be up for the challenge. And I'm looking at linebacker Brian McCoy as well as outside linebacker Wendell Gregory. What are they going to be able to do to try to slow down this potent Oregon offense? The Ducks haven't lost anything with Dante Moore at quarterback. I think Oregon's offense is still going to be very effective. And then you got to keep an eye out for running back Noah Whittington. And then I like the play of outside linebacker Matayo Uyunglele for the Ducks. Oregon's favored big in this game. They're favored by 4 touchdowns at home. Oklahoma State under Mike Gundy, they're going to put up a fight, but their fight is not going to be good enough. They're going to try to keep it close, I think, for the bulk of the first half. but Oregon's just too talented. And I take the Ducks going away by the score of 37-17. Now, an SEC battle as you have the 20th ranked Rebels out of Ole Miss making the trip to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. And Ole Miss comes into this contest favored by 8.5 over the Wildcats. And Kentucky was the only team to beat Ole Miss at home last year. Remember, the Rebels lost 3 games, all within the SEC during the regular season, home to Kentucky, at Florida, and at LSU. Quarterback Austin Simmons didn't get off to the best start against Georgia State as he threw 2 interceptions along with his 3 touchdowns. That's got to change against Kentucky. Keep an eye out for wide receiver Harrison Wallace. And on the flip side, you look at this Kentucky team with the likes of quarterback Zach Calzada. What is he going to do against this Ole Miss defense led by linebacker TJ Dottery? I talked about the offense for the Rebels. You got to keep an eye out for running back Kwan Lacey as well. And the biggest thing for me with Kentucky, can they get the offense going? The Wildcats were 114th in the nation last year in offense. It's one of those, they're going to play D under head coach Mark Stoops, but you got to find a way to score points. You got Zach Calzada at quarterback. You got running back Dante Dowdell. And like I said, Kentucky's going to play D with the likes of linebacker Alex Safari as well as linebacker Steven Solis. It's one of those for me, just like it is with the Iowa State game. The first team to get to 20 points wins. I give that nod to Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, and I'm going to take the Lane train in this one by the score of 27-17. Now, the Battle of the Blue Bloods on Saturday night, as you got 15th ranked Michigan out of the Big Ten traveling to Norman to take on 18th ranked Oklahoma, now out of the SEC. The Sooners come into this contest favored by 5.5 points at home. And it's going to be very interesting because you're still trying to get a feel for Oklahoma. You're still trying to get a feel for Michigan this year. 2 teams that want to bounce back from subpar seasons in regards to their standards. Michigan, you know that they're going to play D with Wink Martindale as their defensive coordinator. What is he going to be able to cook up for Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer to try to throw him off of his game? That's going to be interesting to see, that cat and mouse game right there. Michigan looks like they have their quarterback in Bryce Underwood, and with the Wolverines, they want to keep running the ball, which means you can expect a heavy dose of Justice Haynes in this one. Keontez Lewis at wide receiver for the Sooners. Can he make some hay against this Michigan defense? We've got to wait and see. I can tell you like this. I went back and forth on this game all week long trying to pick a winner. I know that Oklahoma is favored by 5.5 points at home. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is another one of those, what? First team to 20 wins. I give it to the Sooners at home, 24-20. And finally, you have the UCLA Bruins out of the Big Ten Conference, making the short trek to Vegas to take on the UNLV Rebels out of the Mountain West. And last Saturday, we saw, if anybody, stayed up to watch it, but we saw UCLA get destroyed at home, courtesy of Utah. And it's kind of like what we saw from the Bruins when they played the Utes when both were in the Pac-12. Nonetheless, UCLA has to put that 30-plus point beat down at home behind them as they're taking on a UNLV team that is 2-0. I know some people are going to question, how they won the games, but nonetheless, UNLV is 2-0 under Dan Mullen. And I'll tell you like this, you have to take this team seriously, and UCLA should, because UCLA is only favored by 2.5 points on the road in this one. So this gives you an idea of what Vegas, no pun intended, thinks about the Bruins. Nico Iamaleava, of course, a lot was made of him and his transfer this past spring from Tennessee to UCLA. Did not play good last Saturday against Utah. That cannot once again be the case. UCLA's got to get their ground game going. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Guys like linebacker Isaiah Chisholm, what are they going to do against this UNLV front? Dan Mullen, I think, is the right coach for UNLV. And on top of that, it's not like Dan Mullen walked into Vegas barehanded, because he has some talent on this team. You look at the quarterback position with Anthony Calandria. You look at wide receiver Jaden Bradley, and I love this running back that the Rebels have in Jaden Thomas. And then defensively, keep an eye out for Marcel McDuffie. I think UCLA under Deshaun Foster is going to play a much more spirited brand of football this Saturday night in the desert, because the bottom line is they were embarrassed last week, courtesy of Utah. And I want to see how the Bruins respond. But I'll tell you like this: do not sleep on this UNLV team. Do not sleep on this UNLV team possibly getting a bid to the college football playoff as well. I think the Rebels take care of their business at home by the score of 30-24. So, folks, those are my picks for my key games this weekend in the world of college football. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you can give me that follow, I will give you that follow in return. And the same goes for Instagram, and you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you're on Facebook, please be sure to check us out at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.